back with another reaction. So today there is a very credible source. As we can see right here, it says UFO whistleblower. It says U.S. recovered non-human biologics from crash sites. So this is basically confirming that aliens are real. So let's get right into it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Why? Because I do monthly giveaways to all my new subscribers. So why not join and try to get enter and get a chance to win something free and something brand new. Also, if you want to increase your chances, come to my Twitch chat. Hit me with a follow button. You know, catch these vibes. You know, I do weekly giveaways to my Twitch followers. So make sure you pull up. Let's get right into it.
Ms. Mace.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning to our witnesses who are testifying today. I want to thank each of you for being here to discuss a topic of grave importance to our national security. Earlier this year, a Chinese spy balloon was shot down off the coast of my home state of South Carolina. Since the Roswell incident in 1947,
Alhamdulillah.
Many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects crisscrossing our skies. Whether these are UAPs or weather phenomena, advanced technology from American allied or enemy forces, or something more out of this world. So my first question, I have several questions, and if we can just be quick on these first two, I'm going to ask each of you the same question, and then I'll get to each of you individually. The first one, when you reported your experiences with a UAP, did any of you face any repercussions with your superiors, yes or no?
No.
No. I've actually never seen anything personally, believe it or not. So.
All right. And then do you believe there's an active disinformation campaign within our government to deny existence of UAPs, yes or no?
I don't have an answer to that.
As previously stated publicly, yes.
I think previously with like Project Blue Book, yes, but currently I don't speak for the United States government.
Okay, thank you. I have a few questions for Mr. Graves. What percentage of UAP sightings in your belief go unreported by our pilots?
This is an approximation based off of my personal experience speaking with a number of pilots, but I would estimate we're somewhere near 5% reporting perhaps.
So like 95% basically don't report seeing UAPs?
That's just my personal estimate.
95%? What?
In the incident off Virginia Beach, do you believe the Navy took the danger to your aircraft seriously after it was reported?
Absolutely.
A few questions for Mr. Favor. As an expert naval aviator, have you ever seen an object that looked and moved like the Tic Tac UAP?
No.
Did the Tic Tac UAP move in such a way that defied the laws of physics?
The way we understand them, yes.
Many dismiss UAP reports as classified weapons testing by our own government, but in your experience as a pilot, does our government typically test advanced weapon systems right next to multi-million-dollar jets without informing our pilots?
No, we have test ranges for that.
It took over 15 years for your encounter with the Tic Tac to be declassified. Do you feel there was a good reason to prevent lawmakers from having access to this footage?
No, I just think it was ignored when it happened, and it just sat somewhere in a file. Never got reported.
In a drawer. It happens a lot up here. Shocker. Mr. Gresh, a couple of questions for you too, sir, this morning. What percentage of UAPs do you feel are adequately investigated by the U.S. government? Of the 5% that are reported.
I can only speak for my personal leadership over at NGA. I tried to look at every report that came through that I could triage. So.
Do you believe that officials at the highest levels of our national security apparatus have unlawfully withheld information from Congress and subverted our oversight authority?
There are certain elected leaders that had more information that I'm not sure what they've shared with certain Gang of Eight members or et cetera, but certainly I would not be surprised.
Okay. You've stated that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive
non-human spacecraft
conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Other words, aliens, buddy. Come on, man.
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of the people
Whoa.
with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And
Whoa.
was this documentary evidence, is video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super. Thank you. And I yield back.
Wow. This is actually insane. So this is not I guess this is in the House of the Lawmakers. This is Wednesday. Interviewed government officials who had direct knowledge of aircraft with non-human origins, and so-called biologics were recovered from this aircraft. Grush, who served 14 years as an intelligence officer in the Air Force and National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, appeared before the House Oversight Committee's National Security Committee alongside two former fighter pilots who had first-hand experience with unidentified aerial phenomena. CBS streaming network is premiere. Okay, so this is like CBS News. So this is 100% reliable. This is 100% credible. This guy that's speaking, he's not no slouch. He's not like a Joe Schmo that doesn't know what he's talking about. He served 14 years in the Air Force. From the sounds of it, sounds like he's a sergeant in some form of way. There's more info, and by the way, when they say UAP, there is other words for UFO. When they say extraterrestrial beings, they're basically saying humans. When they're saying special aircraft of no knowledge, this is basically they're saying UFO. So they're doing this to basically not alarm us and basically allow us to watch this and not panic. But this is something that has been going on for decades now, and I'm kind of happy, you know, that the people that they used to call crazy, oh, these conspiracy theories, oh, they're so crazy, and now it's all coming into the light, and now it's coming to fruition. Now we
are not alone.
Keep in mind, there's always some true in conspiracy theories, whether if it's false or not. You know what I'm saying? It's always some truth. It's the reason why they came up with that conspiracy theory from the beginning.
Yes,
so we're gonna dive in a little deeper.
If people say this is crazy, I don't care if people laugh or ridicule it, because I know from the sources that I've spoken to, this story will eventually come out.
So also another confusion too, just keep in mind he's not the first conspiracy theorist that tried to come out, in light. A lot of times these conspiracy theories either die or disappear. We don't know where they go, or they just don't get the light of day in this type of publicity. From the looks of it, it looks like the government is trying to hide this type of information. But they're not, because they're allowing this man to come up on here and basically expose the hidden truths. To me, I feel like the government always have a hidden agenda. So I feel like this may be a way of distracting us from something that's actually going on that they're having issues with. So we don't know, honestly. I don't have the answers, but it's kind of weird how they're pushing him out there and basically promoting him, talking about the UFO. Now, you never know, bro, but it's kind of scary.
In the course of my research, I met people who purport to be inside what's called the program, which is a euphemism for, believe it or not, a back engineering, a reverse engineering program that's working on, drumroll, recovered alien, non-human spacecraft.
Wow.
And when I first heard this, I burst out laughing. I mean, like everybody watching this, I thought this was a joke. I thought there must be an explanation. We must have recovered a Russian craft or a Chinese craft or some foreign adversary's technology, and we just don't want to admit it. But I've been told now for quite a number of years by very, very reliable sources in the national intelligence and scientific community that the American government is in possession of non-human technology, spacecraft, alien spacecraft.
I believe
we don't
it.
use the word alien for reasons I'll later explain, but non-human intelligence is the new euphemism. And in the course of my research, some time ago, I came across a guy called David Grush.
David Grush.
David only
That's the guy.
resigned from the very highest levels of military intelligence in the United States about early April. And he worked most recently for the UAP task force. He was the National Geospatial Agency Intelligence Agency lead for the UAP
he was the lead
task force in the Pentagon, which is the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Task Force. And he was investigating what he called transmedium anomaly issues, which essentially is a polite euphemism for UFOs. UAPs,
see?
Alien spacecraft. And
crazy.
I have to admit, as I've gone on and spoken to Dave, I realized that he was at the highest levels of US intelligence. And he was kind enough to speak to me and share with me what he knew.
I was extremely highly cleared.
What conclusion did you come to at the end of your time on the UAP task force?
The UAP task force was refused access to a broad crash retrieval program.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human.
This is a guy, by the way, who has top secret compartmented security clearances. He's a top secret SCI cleared intelligence official, and he still has that security clearance. And he's under an oath to protect things that are national security concerns for the United States. And I think a lot of people have mistakenly tagged him, at times myself included, as a whistleblower. And to imply that he's breaking the law or doing something illegal by revealing what he's revealing is not correct. The incredible thing is, when I asked David if he would do an interview, and so did my colleagues, my journalistic colleagues, Leslie Kane and Ralph Blumenthal, who are the two journalists who broke the New York Times stories from 2017, Dave then went to the Defense Office of Pre-Publication Security Review, the DOPSA office inside the Pentagon, and he asked for permission to talk about what he knows, or what he says he knows. And they've given him permission to talk about crash retrievals, the retrievals of non-human technology. They've given him approval to speak broadly about the existence of a non-human intelligence, what you and I would call aliens that are visiting or perhaps living on this planet. But just to emphasize, the fact that he's been cleared is only an endorsement by the United States government that nothing that he is permitted to speak about would be a breach of national security, which is quite interesting. It's not an endorsement that everything he's telling me is true. And so, there's always the possibility, however remote, that he's made this up. And so in order to be feeling confident about Grush, what I've done is what journalists do. I've gone away and I've spoken to people whom I know who are in the US national intelligence establishment, in the military, and I've also spoken to people that I've been talking to for some time who are, I know, working in the program on what they say is recovered non-human technology. And so have Ralph Blumenthal and Leslie Kane, and they've actually brought people in their article, which has been published in the Debrief online magazine. They've got the names of several people, including Christopher Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defence, no lightweight at all, who's confirmed the veracity of what Dave Grush is saying. They've also got the testimony of a guy called Carl Nell, who's a recently retired American military officer who worked in intelligence. I think his rank was a colonel. And there are other people. I think there's a guy who was working for the National Air and Space Intelligence Center who is using the the pseudonym Jonathan Gray. I'm aware of who these people are. I'm aware of their background, and I can equally vouch for their integrity and their honesty when they say that Dave Grush is a man of high repute, that he served in the positions that he served, and that what he's saying, they say, is true. In fact, to quote Carl Nell, he's asserted, quote, "We are not alone." And look, there is a blowback. There's a pushback happening from the Pentagon and from sections of the establishment media in America who, quite frankly, have been caught napping by the fact that somebody like Grush is prepared to speak out publicly. And that's inevitable. It's always going to happen. But it doesn't mean that the slow trickle of information isn't about to start to become a flood. I know, because there are people that I'm talking to that want to testify, I know there are people who are going to come forward very soon to give their evidence to support Dave Grush's allegations. I think in the long run, the fact that there's pushback from the Pentagon and certain sections of the establishment American media, it really doesn't matter a jot. Ultimately, this story will out. David Grush.
So, we're gonna conclude this video because this video is a 30-minute video. This video is very good. He got a lot of credible sources in here besides David Grush. As you've seen in the video, he has other people that are, that are reliable sources that's telling him that is the truth. There are UFOs, there are other human beings that's well, not human beings, but other non-human beings that they are studying currently. Now, seeing I had spoke about something, I'll have to do a little bit more research on it, but there are a lot of technology that we are just now getting that the government been had. They already had it for years, decades ago, and they're just exposing it to us. So, of course, we get hype, excited, we get a new piece of technology, but these guys been had it. So the government always had stuff up their sleeve. Now, with this David Grush thing and this exposing the UFO thing, it has to be a hidden agenda, I feel like, because the government is not going to allow this man to come up here and spread things that they don't want to be, spread around. They could easily just shut down the network service. They could easily just get rid of David Grush and just make this whole thing disappear. But the whole thing is, we've been knew about UFOs. We've been seeing a lot of things for the past, since like 2000s. Since the 2000s, we've been seeing like videos and crazy videos of things that look like UFOs. That's why we have so many conspiracy theorists about these UFOs, about these aliens, and all these different types of movies. That's another point I want to get across. All of these movies that you see, they have some truth to it. Yeah, they have some truth to it. So don't be surprised that what's going on. I feel like the government been had stuff like this. They've been had these UFO things. They've been studying about it. They've been made alien type of weapons off the UFOs that they're doing research on. Now we just have to figure out what are they currently doing now. I want to know what they're doing now. And I think this is honestly a distraction of what's really going on behind the scenes. But hey, we don't never you know, in this world you never know. All you could do is just pray to God and just live your life to the fullest. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, and comment down below, do you believe this or not? And what do you think the government have up their sleeve?